Many people claim that Scholar of the First Sin is more difficult than vanilla. I will now explain why this is not true. First, we have a Cyclops in the Forest of the Fallen Giants. This is the only one that revives after resting at the bonfire, so you can farm up to 12,000 souls with him in no time. In addition, depending on luck, he drops up to 3 larger souls, each 1,000 souls. Next we have the Giant Tree. In the Skull of the First Sin edition there may be more enemies, but they're all lying on the ground and don't attack you. In the vanilla version you have only 3 enemies, but they all come at you at once. Next we have No Man's Wharf. In the Skull of the First Sin edition there is a bridge you can toss down, so you can create a shortcut, which you can't do in the vanilla version. Next we have the Ember for the Blacksmith. In the vanilla edition you get this much later, which means you can infuse your weapon much later. In the Skull of the First Sin edition you will find a chest right here, which contains the Ember. This is more like a side note, but in the Skull of the First Sin edition you can summon an NPC here, which made the fight against the gargoyles much easier. Here we have a positioning change. You have to jump to get to this enemy, so the skeletons would not be revived. And we all know how good jumping in Dark Souls works. Another change of enemies is in the Skull of the First Sin edition you have here 2 of these fire girls, which can do pretty much damage but don't one-shot you. These giants can. And here again a missing summoning sign. In the Skull of the First Sin edition you can summon an NPC here, I don't know which one, but this is vanilla and here you can't. Another detail which can lead to many deaths if you're not good at fights with many enemies is that the spiders fear light in the Skull of the First Sin edition. Here you can see the spiders are not afraid of my torch. While Shrine of Amana in vanilla is actually easier than in the Skull of the First Sin edition because there are less enemies, the end of the crypt, you see it yourself. Here where the dragons are you actually can skip the whole area but climb up the ladder, which is down in the Skull of the First Sin edition but up in the vanilla, so in vanilla you have to do the whole area. Another change is pretty much at the end of this area, where you have to fight 6 enemies plus 1 right before the dragon in vanilla, and in the Skull of the First Sin edition there's just only 1 dude. At least those were my views on this game. Of course there are still small details here and there, but I think I've made the biggest difference clear. Of course the whole thing also depends a bit on your personal playstyle. Objective criticism is welcome.